everyone, welcome to episode 7 Talkoffamepod. I'm Kylie. I'm so excited to have on a sports director and chief sports anchor for KSBY and host of the Unscripted podcast, Busecher. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. The first question is, you are a sports director and chief sports anchor for KSBY. What is it like for you to work for them?
I love it so far. Firstly, living in California and in such a beautiful place. That's been really amazing to move here. And the station's awesome. The people are great. I really enjoy it. I love my job here.
Yeah, that's amazing. You get to work on the West Coast. I've been there a million times. I really love it. It's like kind of like my second home down there because I've been there multiple times, and I'm probably going there soon depending on COVID because I'm a massive Dodgers fan, so my dad usually takes me down to games often. So like that's really the only time I go down or just go there to visit. So it's really awesome. It's like good for you to work for them, and it's like as I'm down there, it's a really nice place that I see. So it's really awesome to get to work on the West Coast.
Yes, it really is amazing. The Dodgers, I was there when they won the World Series, actually, right before I took the job in Arlington, Texas. So that was pretty cool. And then to move out here and, be surrounded by so many like awesome sports teams has been pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. You got to experience it in Texas. Like, yeah, I was watching on TV. I was like, it ended at midnight at my time. So I was like up late. It was a school night. So I was like pretty exhausted from that night because I didn't want to sleep that night. So like, it was pretty bittersweet. I would say is probably a word I'll describe it. And like it was pretty amazing as a Dodger fan or like a baseball fan yourself. It's pretty like emotional to see your team that you've been waiting for like a long time to see. Because my family is a Philadelphia Phillies fan. So like when they won the World Series, I was only about 2 at the time. So like I didn't really get to experience it. And my dad went to the game. So like I didn't really get to experience it since I was at like such a young age. And I was a little toddler. So like it was such a good moment for me to actually kind of get to experience my team winning and not this like a little kid is seeing their like one team winning a World Series. So like, it was just pretty like amazing to see.
So cool. The World Series is unlike anything. It's seriously the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You have a podcast called Unscripted. How'd you come up with the idea to start the podcast?
Well, I actually haven't really been doing it since I got this new job. But it was something I always wanted to do, was just like have a podcast and have guests on. And so during COVID, all the sports were canceled. So I was like, well, it's kind of a perfect opportunity to start a podcast because all the sports reporters across the country and people that I was interviewing have nothing to do. So it was like perfect timing for me. And yeah, it was amazing. It was so much fun. I kind of want to pick it up again. I don't know if I will or not, but I basically just used it as a way to, meet people throughout the industry and then also, get to learn their background because they were all in positions that I wanted to be in one day. So that was pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. It's like this past year is not like sports, everything was canceled. There was nothing going on. The only thing you can do is stay home and just try to keep yourself busy. I'm the same exact way, just COVID, like that me doing this podcast like you did. And it really got me thinking about like doing a podcast, like that the same way you did. I was thinking myself, they're all home. They're not probably having a lot going on unless they have like their own families or all like training or games. They're trying to wait until the season gets back and season's back. So I'm like, it's amazing. And everything's starting to clear up. So it's like pretty awesome. But I wish everything will get back smoothly, hopefully fast, as soon as possible. And like the reason I started this podcast was to interview like you did, like learn about people's backgrounds and learned about what their journeys to be in their position or what their jobs are, and trying to get people to do the same thing as they are, trying to give people inspiration. Because like I don't know if you know this actor, but her name is Gina Davis. I don't know if you heard of her. And she has her own institute. and it's called Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media, and she's trying to change like diversity and stuff, and trying to do like she's trying to get like little girls like 11 and under, I think it is, to get to see themselves. I guess like I think like there's women upper represented in media, not trying to get women equal to men. And so like their motto is if she can see it, if she can be it. So that was the motto for me. If she can see it, she can be it. So I was like, wow. Once I saw the call, I was like, wow, that's amazing. That inspired me. Like once I saw the call, I was like, wow, that's amazing.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, it's definitely true. I feel like women in media have come a long way for sure, especially in sports, but so much longer to go, you know, especially having women in positions of power.
Yeah,
definitely needs to improve.
Yeah, I agree. What is some advice for people who would like to be like you one day?
I would say something that's really helped me over the years is, you know, when I'm doing things that I maybe don't want to do, when I'm, you know, hauling my camera, or when I'm like going to maybe do a story that I'm not as passionate about as much because I'm in a smaller market than the market I hope to be in one day, especially in my first job, is just I kept my eyes on like the bigger picture and like what my end goal was. And so when you continue to think about what you ultimately want, it helps you get through the first few jobs or the first few markets that you're in. When it's maybe not so easy all the time and you're working your butt off, it makes it a lot easier when you're thinking about the end goal and the overall picture of like why this matters and why the little things matter. I would say also just being able to meet as many people as you can in the industry. That's very important. And because it's such a small one, like everyone kind of knows each other, or someone knows someone who knows someone. Also, something that's super simple but very important is just being nice to people. Like just being a good person is so important because you remember the ones who weren't. You remember the people that you maybe had an internship or in a job, a coworker or something that, or, you know, just anyone in the industry that wasn't nice to you. So I think something I try to do is just be a good person and like be nice to people. And then of course, just like working hard. I think doing what you're doing right now, like having a podcast, you're getting reps, you're talking to people, you're working on you're on camera right now. Like you are getting experience. Everything like this will, you know, help you in the long run. Also just like, even if you know, before you even get your first job, if you just stand in front of a mirror and like give a, you know, analysis of the Dodgers Angels game or something, or just talking and working on your craft is really important too. And branding yourself, like you have this podcast, you're branding yourself, you're getting your name out there. It's things like that that are going to set you apart and help you get to where you want to go quicker.
Yeah, that's a great advice because like I never knew I wanted to be a journalist because I never knew what I wanted to do because like I had like a million options I thought in my mind I wanted to do. So like I just didn't know. So like during this whole COVID, my whole family was like, because I come from two journalists in my family from my local news station down the road from me. And my aunt and her husband worked for a news station. And I'm really close with my aunt and her husband, and they're really the biggest inspiration. They've been inspiring me to do this. And like one day, like a couple times before COVID happened, I was like, my whole family was together, and we're out for someone's birthday or something, or getting together. And my mom was like saying how I'd be good at like podcast stuff because I'm from like a sports family, everyone does sports and everyone's into it. And so like I'm basically carrying on the genes and from sports and stuff. And if people were saying how I'm good, that I would do good with these stuff, and like how, like since I know sports and like I come from a family, people were saying like I'll be good at that. Like I was like, oh cool. But then during this whole COVID, that really got to me. And I was thinking to myself, like at first I didn't like care. I was like, oh cool, that's great. Like I mean, I'll think about it, but I never actually thought about it until this like COVID time. Now I was thinking to myself, that might be a good idea. yeah, once I got really into it, I was like, wow, I think I should do this and see how I like it. And then it completely like changed my life. Now I'm like dying to be a journalist. And it's really awesome to see people like you and some my family do this and help like mentor me, because I love your podcast. It really helped me out like a lot with um doing a podcast and trying to do journalism, because I listen to like a lot of podcasts as well. So like, it really helped mentoring me to do a podcast, since I listened a lot of interviews and a lot of podcasts and stuff. Is so it really helped me like mentor me to really into this position. So like it's all because of you and so many people doing these podcasts, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for like anyone's help.
I love that. That's what I did too. I just, looked up, I have a lot of friends who do podcasts and sports too. And you kind of find things that you like from every, person. You don't want to, maybe duplicate what someone does, but just like finding things that make your podcast unique, or, taking things from, maybe interviews that I did or something that maybe you can use, or maybe questions that people ask. It's the little things for sure that help make a good podcast. But yeah, you're doing a really good job. I think you're doing awesome.
Oh, thank you. It really means a lot. Like at least someone likes it. Like at least someone as good as you likes it. Because like I try to reach as many people as I can, like many like people like you and so many other people to reach, and people listen, give people like a listen to, like in case there's nothing going on, mostly during this time that people have something to keep their minds busy, have something to do. And like that's really I'm trying to do, is like educate the public. Well, not educate the public, but give people inspiration to do what I'm doing and what you're doing, and try to do things for people and try to give people inspiration, trying to carry on kind of like a family generation is this family does this for kind of like a living. So I was like, why not just carry on a family tradition and try to like this, and I try to do something to keep busy and try to, because I've never really done things like this before, because I had a lot of anxiety that didn't let me do these type of things. It was like a lot of like pros and cons to me. Like I was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, I do this now. But then like I was like older, I was like, yeah, I should do this to carry on tradition. And my aunt Rennie, she's a big mentor for me, because like like I said before, she works for a local news station down the road with her husband, and I'm very close with her, and she is so sweet, so kind, and she's always been a mentor. She's always like sweet about everything, and I was like, I want to be her one day. So it's like she's really the reason why I'm doing this. Like, a great kind of mentor. I'm really happy to have mentors like her, you, and some other people. So like to like lead me along the way, and other podcasters that help me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Podcasters to name, but there's so many I can put out there that is great to listen to, and a lot of big help for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who is your favorite guest you had a chance to interview on your podcast?
Ooh, let's see. That's tough. They were all so good. I think for me, someone that like I kind of knew before getting on the having her on my show is Kristen Ledlow. She's a sideline reporter for NBA TNT, just because she literally has the exact job that I want. Like I want that job. I love basketball. So yeah, every time I talk to her, I just get so inspired. Like it's just an energy about her that is just so contagious, and she's so positive, and she's a go-getter. And I just love like the fire that she has. And she also mentors young broadcasters. So that's where I met Kristen before. But yeah, I loved her interview, and she loves basketball. So I just feel like we just vibe super well. She was a great interview. Toni Collins from ESPN. She was probably one of my more fun interviews. She's just the coolest girl. Love her. Rick Renner, he's a host for Fox Sports Southwest, but now it's Valley Sports. And that was cool because he went to Syracuse, where I went to school. So that was super fun. And he also works for a network that I want to work for someday. So yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of really good guests. It was awesome to see that people like said yes and wanted to come on and stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool. They get to interview some like amazing people. That's what I'm trying to do, is trying to get people from like you are, like ESPN, and people work for sports, and like all your guests are truly amazing. I was like, wow, her guests are truly amazing, because I listened to like all your episodes, I believe I did. And it was like, wow, I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Like all your guests are insane. I was like, oh, dude, I have to get them on someday. So I was like, wow, she has some
For
amazing
sure.
going on, and they're like really cool, and all of them are like so positive, and all their stories on where they are pretty inspiring on where they are. And I have my cousin John, my Aunt Rennie's husband, went to Syracuse as well. So like
Oh,
so it's like Syracuse things. I love Syracuse. They're one of my favorite college football teams. So like it's pretty cool. And like Syracuse is like a great university to go for journalism and stuff like that. So I hope
for sure.
my top choice is to go to Syracuse, but my top has to be Penn State probably, because
Yeah, they're also great at journalism.
because Penn State is a great journalism school, because my Aunt Rennie went there, and I heard from people that it's such a great university to go
Right.
to. And like, and it's kind of in the genes to go, because like all my family went to Penn State. So it's kind of like a family kind of tradition to go. So like, I don't know if it's probably my top choice to go to Penn State, but it's probably my definitely top choice to go to Penn.
Yeah, that's great journalism school.
Mhm. The final question is, how did you know you wanted to see a career in sports?
So I grew up with a sports family too. My whole life is sports and always has been. I, played every sport growing up. I was really, really competitive with basketball. I wanted to play in college, but I didn't get any D1 offers. So I decided not to, and that I wanted to go to a big university where, I could learn about journalism. I didn't know I wanted to do journalism though in the beginning. But yeah, so sports was like my entire life. And then when I went to undergrad at Texas Tech, I knew I wanted to work in sports. So literally my first day on campus, I showed up to the girls' basketball practice. And I was like, well, if I can't play for you, I'd like to work for you. So I started working for the basketball team the first day I was at Tech. And then I got into, doing the student run television show. They had a partnership with Fox Sports for the show that they had at Tech called the Double T Insider. So I worked for them for a while. And then probably around my junior year, I realized, okay, I really want to do broadcasting. And I wasn't a journalism major. I was just an electronic media major. So it was more like, behind the scenes, camera work, things like that, which is good. But I didn't really get the journalism classes because I wasn't a journalism student. So I was like, okay, well, how am I going to be a reporter if I don't even, I'm not even getting the experience. So I had a resume reel, but I'm pretty sure it was like awful. So I was like, and then I got, so my senior year, I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I was applying to a bunch of jobs, didn't really apply to reporter jobs. So I didn't have a resume reel. So I knew my friend the year before me went to Syracuse. They have a 1-year master's track. And her reel was amazing. She got to work with ESPN up in Syracuse and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply to Syracuse. So I applied to Syracuse, and then I got a job at ESPN in Bristol, but not on camera. It was in public relations, which is still amazing. But I'm like, do I go? It was like a postgraduate internship because I would love to work in Bristol at the headquarters. So I was either going to go take the post-grad internship at ESPN, hoping to, somehow navigate my way back into broadcasting, or go to Syracuse, do this 1-year master's track where I know I'm going to get experience being a reporter. So chose to go to Syracuse, said no to ESPN. They were very confused, but it made sense in the end when I told them I wanted to be on camera. So then I went to Syracuse and I just fell in love with this. It is so hard though. It's such a grind being a reporter, but I feel like when I look back on the years and growing up in sports, it just feels right. And what I've always wanted to do, because you're still in the action, I might not be an athlete anymore necessarily, but I still get to talk to the athletes. I get to talk to the coaches. You're still in the mix. it's the closest thing you can do besides coaching or actually playing, you know, to be with the sport. So yeah, I loved it. And, you know, sports are still my life, and it's like all I've ever wanted to do. I don't even know what I would be doing if I wasn't working in sports. I've never even thought about it, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing. It's like because journalism is like a hard thing to do. Like if you first start out, like it's kind of like hard, but once you keep like once you grow, and once like you discover other people, do research on other people, you can just learn from them. And my sports is my whole destiny too, because I've been a sports fan basically all my life, because I played sports as a kid, and I didn't really become a sports fan until back in 2018 because of Chase Utley. I became a fan I went to see a game, Dodgers and Phillies game, a couple years ago, because my mom got tickets in Philadelphia. So I was like, oh yeah, let's go. I was like, that had nothing to do. So I was like, why not? Let's go. And after that, the game was crazy. Like it went to 18 innings and then until 1 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, wow, it's like, what is crazy? And we stayed like the whole game, and Chase Utley was up to bat. And I was like, wow, I can't believe like almost a Hall of Famer is going to be up to bat. It's like a Hall of Famer in Phillies, but I don't know if he's going to be actually a Hall of Famer in real life. But like it was pretty insane. Then after that game, I was like, wow, I can't believe I actually got to see Chase Utley play. Like it's just pretty insane. And after that game, I started watching the last game of the series, and it was the next day, I think, or 2 days after. And I watched the game out, and the game wasn't on. I was like, Mom, Dad, get it. I want to watch the Dodgers on. And my parents were asking me like, why do you want to watch the Dodgers? I'm like, I don't know. So like it was a story, because I became a fan from Phillies fanatics. Like my whole family's big Phillies fans. And once I became a Dodger fan, because of Chase Utley, they were not too happy. So like I was there.
That's funny. You go. That's awesome.
Thanks for coming on. I had a great time speaking today. I wish you the best of luck in your career, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. Now, have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching the podcast.
Yes, Kylie, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. It was great talking to you, and best of luck.
Oh, thank you so much. It was great talking to you too. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Bye.